Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Gold Rush fans worry Parker might be working his way out. This season of Gold Rush shows the crews are changing in interesting ways. While fans point out that Fred Lewis can't seem to do anything right and Rick Ness is out of action, Parker Schnabel has become more successful. That has some fans worried. Here is what fans are saying about Parker's continued success and the dangers it presents to Gold Rush. Is Parker too successful for Gold Rush? This season, Gold Rush fans can't stop talking about Fred Lewis and his struggles to get anything done at his sites. There is also the fact that Rick Ness chose not to return. Plus, the Clayton brothers seem more intent on doing odd jobs than working their own adventures. Then, there is Parker Schnabel, who has been the most successful miner outside of Tony Beets. His success, however, has some fans worried he might be too successful to feature on Gold Rush anymore. One fan on Reddit mentioned that Gold Rush existed to show small groups starting out and trying to find gold. While Fred is a good example of this, it was more about people like Rick Ness succeeding despite the odds stacked against him. Parker once fit that mold as well. The fan said that while Fred is an attempt to recreate Rick's story, he is more comic relief. Other fans agreed, with one responding, Parker is on the verge of becoming a corporate mining firm that will no longer be interesting to watch in the original Gold Rush format. The Redditor said that if he spends a lot of time working with equipment on Gold Rush, it is not a good use of his time. Another commented that Parker is the most successful person on the show right now. However, that makes it boring to watch him each week. However, at least one Redditor felt it might be time to change the show when Parker is on TV. Personally, I love what he's doing and would appreciate production diving deeper into the business/strategy/finance side of things, they wrote. However, they also admitted that isn't what Gold Rush is all about. Will Rick be back this season on the show? For the small crews that struggled to make it at the start, many Gold Rush fans are wondering what will happen with Rick Ness. He showed up earlier in the season when his crew went to his home. He said he was suffering from depression and had sought help. However, he wasn't ready to come back. In the same Gold Rush Reddit thread, someone mentioned that Rick wasn't coming back this season to work. When he appeared on the show, it was to explain his absence. According to the Redditor, a member of the production crew frequents the Reddit pages. They said Rick doesn't appear in any storylines for the rest of this season. The buzz around the mining camps had grown louder recently, and it wasn't the usual clatter of heavy machinery or the relentless hum of generators. Whispers drifted among the crew like the wind through the pines. Parker's planning something big. But this time that big wasn't just another cut or a new claim. It had a finality to it, an undercurrent of uncertainty that twisted the guts of those who depended on him for work and adventure. Could Parker Schnabel really be considering working his way out of the gold mining game? For years, fans had watched Parker's rise, from the scrappy kid with a stubborn streak to a seasoned leader of men who bled ambition and gold dust. He was the wild card that brought an edge to Gold Rush *, the reason many tuned in week after week. His drive for success was electric, magnetic even. But as with any force of nature, there comes a time when it begins to wane, or worse, change direction entirely. The signs were there if you knew where to look. In between the thrill of big gold finds and the high-pressure setbacks, there were glimpses of wariness in Parker's eyes. Not fatigue from the grueling hours or the unrelenting Alaskan cold, but something deeper. A tiredness that came from chasing a dream that might no longer be enough. Gold mining was in Parker's blood, sure. His grandpa John had taught him everything, instilled in him the love of digging wealth out of frozen earth. But as the seasons wore on and the stakes got higher, the hunger for gold seemed to be morphing into something else. Maybe a hunger for freedom or simply a different challenge. Parker had spent more than a decade proving himself. But how long can a person keep pushing the limits before they start wondering if it's all worth it? Rumors had started circulating that Parker had been seen in meetings that had nothing to do with gold claims or equipment suppliers. The whispers hinted at business deals, real estate investments, maybe even the seed of a new venture far removed from a life of mud, sweat, and heavy iron. The fans were picking up on it too. On social media, message boards filled with anxious chatter, speculations, theories, and outright fears that Parker was setting the stage for an exit. The idea of Parker leaving mining was like imagining a lion content with nibbling grass. It didn't make sense, and yet there was something different in the air this season. Down at the site, the crew noticed it too. They had seen Parker drive his team hard, pushing for longer shifts, risking everything to hit targets that only he seemed able to see in the distance. But lately there was a hesitation, as if his heart was in two places. There were moments when he stood at the edge of a pit, staring not at the exposed pay dirt, but somewhere far beyond, lost in thoughts nobody could read. One afternoon, Rick Ness dropped by Parker's camp for what was supposed to be a quick chat about logistics, but instead, they found themselves sitting on the tailgate of Parker's truck, beers in hand, watching the sun dip below the mountains. It was the kind of sunset that wrapped the world in a warm, golden glow, the kind of thing Parker used to claim was his favorite time to be out in the field. But tonight it seemed to be saying goodbye rather than inviting him to stay. Rick cleared his throat, trying to gauge his old friend. "You seem distracted, man. What's going on?" Parker took a long sip, eyes fixed on the horizon. "Just thinking, about what's next." Rick's brow furrowed. "Next? I thought this was it for you. Gold mining. This is in your blood, right?" Parker's silence was telling. "Yeah, it is. But you ever wonder if maybe there's more to life than this? I mean, sure, the money's good. But at what cost? We spend months out here, busting our asses, chasing dirt. I'm not saying I don't love it. Hell, I do. But I've been doing this since I was a kid. There's gotta be something more out there, right?" Rick looked at him, trying to read the tone behind those words. "You thinking about quitting?" "Not quitting. Just pivoting maybe. Trying something new. I don't know, man. It's like I've proven I can do this, But the world's a big place. There's other stuff I want to try. And I keep thinking if I wait too long, I'll get stuck. And this will be all I know how to do." The two men sat in contemplative silence, the hum of distant machinery the only sound breaking through the night. Rick took a breath. "You're a stubborn son of a bitch, Parker. You don't back down from anything. But if this is where your head's at, maybe it's time to listen to it. Just don't leave us hanging, all right? People count on you." Parker nodded slowly, as if the weight of his thoughts was finally settling into something clear. "I'm not walking away just yet, but I'm not gonna do this forever either. There's a time when you have to realize it's not about how much gold you can dig up, it's about the life you want to live." The sunset had faded and darkness crept in around them, swallowing the last golden hues. As they packed up and headed back to camp, Rick couldn't shake the feeling that Parker was already 1 foot out the door, and he wasn't the only one who felt it. Back at the network offices, the producers of Gold Rush were scrambling. If Parker was serious about stepping back or shifting gears, it would leave a hole in the show that no amount of heavy equipment or flashy new claims could fill. The fans tuned in as much for Parker's drive and grit as they did for the gold itself. Losing him would be like losing the heart of the show. They knew they had to prepare for that possibility, even if it was the last thing they wanted to face.